All right, so my recording software glitched, and that's not good. So I'm gonna have to make this two videos. I apologize for that. So part one was the other part, and part two, we're just gonna finish out the CQ Researcher stuff. So okay, again, we're in CQ Researcher, and they have changed this database around quite a bit. So sometimes I fumble to get through it because I don't use it very often now that I'm a professor. Yeah, so I'm struggling to find how things used to be. They updated it about a year and a half, 2 years ago, but still, I don't really come into it very much. So I apologize for that. But yeah, let's say, um, so basically there are two things that you're probably going to want to really be focused on with this database. And again, you can always just you're always welcome to actually go back and view tutorials and learn this database a little more in depth than what I'm doing. But a lot of the good information that you're going to get within this database is going to come from reports, okay? So what you can do is you can go to reports, and now I'm searching reports here. And let's say that, yeah, I put in marijuana. And you see those reports. You already saw some sample reports come up. But what I want to do is they update the reports. A good example may be that you can have, oh, this is, I don't know why I defaulted in the most recent. Let's default into most relevant, because I do want you to see that you will see multiple reports when you do most relevant, and they're going to be the same report with different dates. So as you can see, if we're talking about medical marijuana, there's a report from 1999. And then there's the same report from almost 20 years later, 2017. These are both medical marijuana reports, and I can only imagine what they had for their 1999 report. I was still in high school back then, and I'm 40 years old, y'all. So that is a long time ago. But yeah, so I wanted to show you that just to show you that if you go to most relevant, then you may have duplicate reports. Well, not duplicate reports, but the same report or the same type of report for different years. But if you wanted to get the most recent information, and that is going to be the case for a lot of your students, if I'm keeping it real with you, then yeah, you might want to default this into, or not default it, but sort it by most recent instead of most relevant. And now you're getting things from last year, 2023, and that sort of thing. So legal marijuana, let's see if I can scroll down to finding a recent medical marijuana report. Oh, well, that's not going to be the case there, but let's, instead of belaboring this too much, let's just go to this, let's just go to the legal marijuana here. Well, not. And what you can do, so if you're doing something about legalization of marijuana, if you got a student that's trying to do that, the report, again, is one of the most useful things, and I'm going to show you why within this database. So when you have the report, first you're going to start out with this introduction, and then as you scroll down, you'll get further information. But what's really useful here is the footnotes. This is a very underrated feature of this database, is exploiting the footnotes, and I'll tell you why. So as you go down this page here, you're going to see this is a good literature synthesis right here, but you're going to also, in addition to it being a literature synthesis, you're going to have your footnotes here. And when you click on a footnote number, what it's going to take you to is it's going to take you all the way down to the footnotes, and it's going to give you links. And so the links are useful because this is how you can also build up a bibliography very quickly. You can use the links to get to relevant, like let's say that as I was reading that paragraph that was associated with footnote number 2, let's say that I was like, ah, man, that's good information and I need more. You just click that footnote number 2, and then you click in there, or yeah, it's not going to let me open in a new tab that way, but thankfully it opens in a new tab anyway, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm not going to wait for that to load because who knows how long that's going to take. But what I am going to do is, again, I'm going to allow it to load. And it doesn't actually appear to be loading, but let me try another one. I basically want to just convey to y'all that okay, this one's better. This one actually is loading. So you can get right to that other information very quickly. And this would probably be very useful for somebody who needs like statistics and a data and chart and that sort of thing. You got that right there. So that's what this database can be particularly useful for is to get those footnotes and to build up your source list that way and to find your sources that way. But again, and unfortunately that took me all the way back down there. Actually, though, that might be pretty useful as well. So the other thing with these reports is that you do have, the reports are very thorough and you can get a full table of contents. So let's go to that full table of contents. That's the DC statehood. We don't want that. Searches aren't linear, y'all. So yeah, and I hope you sped this up. But yeah, if I'm doing this, getting the full table of contents, and then you can scroll all the way down and you're going to have the overview, and then you're gonna have like a timeline. You've got chronology, but you can, let me move myself here, you can go to introduction, then you can take it to your current situation, what's going on as of when this was published. This was 2023, so that's still very useful, but when this was published. And then you can go into pro and con, and this is what comes in handy, is particularly when you are trying to do a persuasive argument or something like that. You can actually look at the pro article and then the con article, or I should say essay, really. So, and it tells you who wrote these, and you can cite these, but then you can also, again, follow their links, follow. This looks like it's a, if you can see it down here, this looks like, yeah, you're not going to be able to see it once I move my cursor. But basically, this is defaulting, I mean, not defaulting, it's linking to a government website that probably has, it's got reports and everything, so it's probably got some statistics and data in there and that sort of thing. And so that can be useful, but you can use these pro and con essays in order to kind of get ideas that strengthen your argument, ideas that'll strengthen the argument of the, or ideas that you can use in order to find out what people who are arguing against your viewpoint might be saying. You can see what they would be saying, and then you can find counter arguments to the arguments you can expect from them, if that makes sense. And so then you've also got an outlook and then your bibliography from there. But again, this database has been changed a little bit, so it's a little more difficult for me to navigate, but with some time I can get it. But again, this isn't a tutorial, it's an introduction, and then if you want an actual tutorial, you can find that, okay? Now the other thing that I wanted to show you all, hold on. So the other thing that I want to show you is, again, on your landing page, if you go to browse by and then pro con, then you can scroll down and you've got your, again, your hot button issues here. I don't know if marijuana is going to be, well, marijuana legalization is there. So yeah, it's going to be one of the topics that comes up. And you can click that, and then what you can do is you've got like a bunch of pro-con stuff that you can kind of look at here. This title is legal marijuana, but the pro-con question is what you're going to want to see. And let's do, should Congress repeal the federal ban on marijuana? Yeah, that is actually a good one. And as you can see, it's from 2023. So let's go ahead and click on that one. And then that'll bring you right back here. So, but this is a good way to, again, find your pro and con arguments. That's actually, since that's the same thing that we pretty much just looked at, let's go to another one right here. Legalizing marijuana, does permitting medical marijuana amount to backdoor legalization? If you click that, again, you can be brought straight to your pro and con arguments there. And so again, a lot of times it doesn't look like it in this case, but a lot of times you will have links that link you to other information, okay? So I think with CQ Researcher, and I'm just going to say it, and you could probably tell by what I've already said, but I felt that this one was a lot easier to navigate before they actually updated it. And I would probably need to find time to, if I wanted to master this database again, I would probably need to just find time to sit down with it and try to look at some tutorials and internalize that and then figure out exactly how the information is arranged. And I just haven't had time to do that. We professors are pretty busy. Everybody is pretty busy, so, and that includes us. But anyway, having said that, I have gone over the time that I wanted to go over. So I just frankly wanted to encourage you all to, yeah, master these databases. They are used a lot in all three of the main types, again, of libraries, academic, public, and K-12. So these would be good databases for you to know. And with that said, I'm just gonna leave it right there. Why spend too much more time talking? But I hope you sped this up, and I hope you all are ready to turn in some smashing and dashing Wikipedia edits this weekend. I am Dr. Jace, and well, let me just that when you're trying to show somebody a database, it's usually best that you are looking at a database that you are already familiar with and already familiar with the updates, but that won't always be the case. And I want you all to remember that as you are in professional reference, because just because there are going to be times when you actually go into a database that you haven't been into for a year or so, when you've got a patron in front of you, and you're going to find out that that database was updated, and so you're going to feel like a fish out of water again. And that's one of the things that, again, that virtual reference assignment is to prepare you for, is to let you know that there are going to be times when you're just like a deer in headlights when you are on the reference desk, and updates to databases will certainly cause that type of frustration. So just be aware of that. And that is the words of wisdom for Dr. Jace. I will see you all next week with the LibGuide video. And that one's going to be really long, so be prepared. Thank you. Bye-bye.